Hello and welcome to Catholic Answers Live. I'm Cy Kellett, your host. Delighted to be here with you. I think we got 2 great hours coming up for you. Tim Staples, both hours, and it's Ask Me Anything. You want to know something about the Catholic faith? This is your opportunity to call 888-318-7884, and anybody can call. You don't have to be Catholic. You don't have to be Christian. You don't have to be a believer of any sort. You are welcome to call with your question, 888-318-7884. We love talking about Jesus. We love talking about his church, and if you want to talk about it, whether you're in or out, whether you're a believer or not, 888-318-7884. I'll tell you what, I'm going to say that number about 2 more times, and then I'm going to stop saying it for the rest of the hour because I have to give out a different number today. Today is the last day of our May pledge drive, and this is where we come to you to ask you for your help to stay fully funded here at Catholic Answers for the next 3 months. And so I'll be giving out that number. So here we go. 2 more times I'll say the phone number. You fill up those phone lines with your questions about the Catholic faith, and then I'll give out the other number, 888-318-7884. It's Ask Me Anything with Tim Staples this hour and next on Catholic Answers Live, 888-318-7884. Now we take just a couple minutes to go do the other business. It takes us 6 hours every quarter to raise the money to keep this program on the air. We're in the last 2 of those 6 hours. We're going to finish this up one way or another. It'll be done today. And we'll only take a few minutes each hour to ask you for your help and support to keep us fully funded for the next 3 months. And that number to call is 888-291-8000. I know Tim's raring to go, and I'm going to bring him in, but let me just set the stage for you real quick. 888-291-8000 calls right into this building, and you'll be talking with one of our colleagues. And you can make a pledge in any amounts. You can get it done quickly. They'll get you right out. Or if you want to maybe tell them your story, tell them why you're supporting Catholic Answers, they would love to take the time with you. 888-291-8000 is that number, or you can do it yourselves, safe and secure online at CatholicAnswersRadio.com. CatholicAnswersRadio.com. All right, here's the deal. We've got matches each hour today. We have a long way to go. We are less than 50% of the way towards our goal, but we've been here many times on the last day of the pledge drive. And so we've got these great big matches. First of all, any pledge up to $20,000 is matched dollar for dollar this hour. 888-291-8000. And then there's that second match, and that goes like this. If you make a new monthly pledge in any amount, it'll be matched a second time.
Awesome.
888-291-8000. Senior apologist here at Catholic Answers, Tim Staples. I'm sorry to keep you waiting, Tim. I know you're raring to go.
I am, and I am excited about these last couple of hours because, folks, you know what? We had a very bad first day. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We didn't make the match either time, which I think is the first time since we've had matches that we haven't made the match in the first 2. But I got to tell you something. I absolutely understand. I understand why, in fact. Now, we did much better yesterday. We made the match both hours, but I understand. Folks, I know, I mentioned this to Cy yesterday. I'm a father of 7 kids, man. I know what it's like to pay a massive food bill every month with the prices going absolutely through the roof like they are right now. We struggle in the Staples household. So you know what? I just wanted to say to everybody, God bless you, and thank you, every single one of you who called in and have donated. God bless you. And those of you who cannot, don't. If you're struggling and you can't make ends meet, you're struggling to make ends meet, don't give. But you know what you can do is pray right now, because we need other folks to step up to the plate. That means everyone listening to me right now, if you can give, you need to give all the more in order to make up for those who really do want to give, and they can't in this crazy economy we have. So, folks, we need you to pick up the phone right now. And isn't that exciting what Cy Kellett just said? You become a new monthly donor. Right? Or, and I know I'm right on this because we said it yesterday, if you already are a monthly donor and you decide, I'm going to up the ante. Let's say you're a $25 a month giver. You say, I'm going to double that to $50. Guess what? That gets tripled. That $25 a month that you give becomes immediately, it goes from $300 to $900, just like that. And if you decide to give $100 a month, folks, you're talking about $3,600. It goes from $1,200 to $3,600. Folks, that's who we need to hear from right now at 888-291-8000. Pick up the phone right now. We need you to call right from the start, folks. We can't wait. We are way behind, as Sai said. We've got to double what we've done in the first 2 days today, and we're going to do it by God's grace. And I'll tell you why, because I believe, yes, the economy's crazy. People are struggling. The culture is going crazy. That's exactly why Catholic Answers needs to be here, because we need to proclaim the fullness of the gospel of Jesus Christ that we alone possess as Catholics. The Orthodox don't have it. The Protestants don't have it. The cults, of course, don't have it. All of those, Jehovah's Witnesses and such. We have the fullness of the gospel, folks, and this is what people need. This is what's going to turn people's lives around, get souls to heaven, number one, but also transform this culture at the same time. So, folks, we need your help right now at 888-291-8000. Please don't wait. Pick up the phone right now, and I need you to give. The same guy I was talking to yesterday, I'm going to talk to again today. I need you to give that $20,000 during these 2 hours. Let's make it this first hour. Let's get off to the races here and call in and give that $20,000 gift. And I know we've got some folks who can give $10,000. We got some folks who can give $5,000. We need you to do that right now. How about some $2,000 givers? And I know we've got a whole lot of $1,000 givers. But remember, those monthly donors, huge. Now, everything I just said, everything's going to be doubled, right? So if you give that $10,000, it's going to be $20,000 immediately. If you give that $5,000, it's going to be $10,000 immediately. But remember, folks, we're talking about tripling those monthly donors. And folks, I asked you this yesterday, but how much would you pay for the salvation of a soul? Of course, you can't pay. Why? Because one soul is worth more than the entire material universe, right? There's no amount of money. What can a man give in exchange for his own soul, says Jesus in Matthew 16:26, right? There is no. But the fact is, by your giving today, you will and are going to be participating in the salvation of souls. And that is a fact, because that's what we do here at Catholic Answers. We bring people to Jesus. We strengthen Catholics that are already Catholics. We bring Protestants home to the fullness of the gospel of Jesus Christ. We bring folks who are atheists or members of other world religions to Jesus Christ and his church. That is priceless. Please join with us. 888-291-8000. That's 888-291-8000.
888-291-8000. That's the number to call and make your pledge. I'm going to go to the other phones now and let Tim answer some questions. If you start a new monthly pledge right now, tripled this hour, 888-291-8000, or safe and secure online at CatholicAnswersRadio.com. It's always fun to start with an international call. Mark is in France watching on YouTube. Mark, welcome. Go ahead with your question for Tim.
Hello, thank you for taking my question. I have a moral dilemma. I am currently considering enrolling into the army, but I have had some second thoughts because I am apprehensive about what I should do in case I were sent to what I consider an unjust war.
Yes.
Shall I simply trust our leadership to make and be obedient, or shall I become a conscience objector, or shall I refrain from enrolling in the first place?
Right.
Mark, thank you.
Mark, thank you. That's a really important question. And of course, the Catechism of the Catholic Church lists, as you know, Mark, in section 2309, the criteria for just war. And there's no doubt in today's day and age, with the kind of weapons we have, it is very difficult to meet the criteria for a truly just war. It's possible, but this is a problem, and should be. This is a matter of conscience for every Catholic, every Christian, every person, man or woman of goodwill to consider before you join the military, of course, because it doesn't matter when you enter into the military. There is always the possibility of a military being asked to fight in unjust wars. And so in those situations, now let me back up. I would say that's not a reason not to join the military unless, in fact, you have a situation where they are in the middle of fighting what you believe to be an unjust war. Then I would not recommend joining, right? If it's, not the draft. But even if you're drafted, there is an option for you in petitioning the government to say, you know what, I cannot in my conscience do this. Now, you could opt for being a nurse, if you're a doctor, being a doctor, to minister to people in the war. If the government that you're serving is one of those governments that says, guess what, you're going to be drafted whether you like it or not. There are different avenues you can take. But of course, as Catholics, we cannot fight if we believe, if I were to believe, and you're talking to a veteran Marine right now, but if I was asked to fight in a war that I believe was unjust, I would have to say no. I could offer my services to say, look, I'll be on the battlefield. I'll bind up wounds, teach me to be a medic, or whatever, but I cannot pull the trigger. And that's fine. We need people in our military that have a conscience and don't just follow orders and kill whoever the government tells them to kill. We need more people in government and in the military who are willing to stand up for truth like that. So you got to keep all these things in mind. I personally, when my son Luke was considering joining the military, I struggle with it because of the wokeism in the military right now and the persecution of Christians. And I had to be honest with my son, but he still was bent on joining the military. He said, you know what? We need good people, Dad. You say that all the time. And he was really heading that way. Now he's decided to go to a trade school, and he's going to be on his way here shortly. But that was a struggle with my own son. But my problem was not so much with the whether we're fighting an unjust war or not, at least at this point right now, although I told my son, with the morality of the folks that are running our country right now, I wouldn't be counting on doing a whole lot of just war fighting in these days because we've got a government that's really lost its way. But again, these are personal decisions, and like my son, I was like, okay, but if you're going to join, I will support you absolutely, and you got a phone line open to me anytime you want to talk about, Dad, what about this? Dad, what about that? All right, so I encourage folks, yes, study your faith, understand what it is you're going into, and when you join the military, you should let all know, hey, I am a Catholic, I am a Christian first, and so I obey God before I obey any man, and I'm only going to fight in a just war. Again, I can offer my services in other ways, but I can't pull the trigger. Well, thank you so much for your call, brother.
Mark, thank you. God bless you. Maybe if you would like further help, send us an email at radio@catholic.com or call again, because we, as you can hear, we do have to raise money today. And this is a wonderful call that we could go back and forth on, and I think it would be very helpful to many people. So if you would like to call back again when Tim is on and we can have a little back and forth, that would be great. But right now I've got 17 of my fellow Catholic Answers workers just waiting to take calls. 2 folks are on the line, 17 lines open. And we're taking a little bit of time each hour today to ask you to support us. And it takes $225,000 to keep this show, all the podcasts, the social media stuff, and quite a bit of the rest of what we do to keep it going. $225,000 every 3 months, which is an extraordinary deal given the amount and the quality of the media that comes out of this place. And I'm not ashamed to say it. Yeah. And the quality is rooted both in that we have very fine people like Tim working here, but also in the fact of this is the message. It's hard to have higher quality than the gospel and the teaching of the Catholic Church, but we need your help right now. And we have 2 matches. The number is 888-291-8000. Please pick up that phone and call, because all of our fellow employees are waiting to take those calls. 888-291-8000. Any pledge in any amount is matched 100%. 100% up to $20,000 this hour. And then we have that second match where any new monthly pledge, you want to come in at say $10 a month, For many people, that would be a comfortable level to come in. Some, it would be a sacrificial level. I understand that. But if that's a comfortable level for you to come in, we would like to be your friend in that way. We'll send you all kinds of stuff. You can ask what we're going to send you and what you're going to get for being a $10 donor. But then your money is tripled because there's two matches for any new monthly pledge. So
What a
maybe you could
blessing.
come in at the $20 a month level. Maybe you could come in at the $50 or $100 a month level. If we could get 16 folks just right now, we're on hundreds of stations. We're on all around the world. Could we get 16 people to pick up the phone and make that call right now? 888-291-8000.
Amen. And you know, man, I'm going to be giving a talk here coming up in a couple of weeks at a talk here in Southern California where I'm doing something a little different, Si. I'm going to be talking about one of the things that attracted me to the Catholic faith. And I don't often tell this part of my story because when you do your conversion story, Si, you can only do so much in an hour, right?
Right.
But one of the many things that drew me to the Catholic faith was actually the Catholic presentation of the moral law.
Oh, yes, right.
I mean, it was something that, coming from a Protestant background where, of course, we used to have classes on what kinds of contraception to use, because contraception, of course, it was a given that was okay. And there's not a Protestant denomination on the planet that doesn't allow abortions in varying situations. Not a single one. There is none that are completely pro-life as we are as Catholics. That's a fact, Si. I did the research. I tried to find one. They don't exist. But when you look at the presentation of the moral law, when we have a situation that we're in right now where the moral law has been obliterated, we are in such a dire need to present the truth. I mean, all the truths of our faith are so rich and such, but I'm just talking about the moral law here, Si.
I know.
There is no moral guidance in our country. It is up for grabs. You want to kill babies in the womb? Fine. Well, let's argue whether after birth we can kill them or not if you're Governor Northam of Virginia. I mean, this is how far we have gone. The mutilation of children now being promoted in our schools and universities and such in the name of quote-unquote transgender. The presentation of the moral law is such a beautiful, it is symphonic. And when I saw it, and it started with contraception, Si, and I saw this, and then I found out that all Protestants, all Christians agreed on this point up until 1930. John Calvin equated contraception with murder. Until today, most Protestants don't even know John Calvin once taught that, did not know that Martin Luther was staunchly against it as well, and all Christians were. Folks, this is why, among the many reasons, we need Catholic Answers on the air presenting the beauty of the truth that we possess as Catholics. Because in an arena, in a culture where even in churches, people are not hearing the fullness of the truth, where are they going to get it? They're not going to get it on the news, not getting it on television, and if they're Protestant, they're not getting it when they go to church. Good people who want the truth are not getting it. Folks, this is why we need your help. Because without Matt Dula, those of you who know my story, I was a Pentecostal. I encountered a young Catholic Marine, the first Catholic I had ever known who knew his faith, and he presented it to me. And again, one of the beautiful things was that the presentation of the moral law, but so much more. And that's why I'm Catholic today. We didn't have Catholic radio back then in 1988. It didn't exist. That's when I became Catholic, when I met Matt Dula in 1986. Folks, we have it today, but let me tell you, it's not automatic. We're not going to remain here automatically. If you guys don't give, I mean, folks, we've seen whole networks go off the air before. Whole networks of stations have gone away because people didn't give. Don't assume, folks, that the other guy is going to give, because I'm looking at 12 open lines right now. That means the other guy isn't giving right now, folks. So please, all right, I say all that to say this. 888-291-8000. Can you call right now and give that gift? We need some big donors and we need some small donors. It's going to take all of us to make up for that first day, and let's take it beyond. We've got to reach our goal. It's going to take all of us. We need that $20,000 giver right now at 888-291-8000. We need that $10,000 giver right now at 888-291-8000. That $5,000 giver, I know we have more than one out there. We have multiple $2,000 givers, $1,000 givers. And as Cy Kellett said, that $100 a month, that $50 a month, I mean, $100 a month is not just $1,200 because it's tripled, folks. It becomes $3,600. Oh, my goodness, folks. $25 a month is not just $300, it's $900. Please pick up the phone right now at 888. Come on, 888-291-8000, or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com or text Catholic to 24365. Folks, I'll leave you with this. We got to get back to some calls, I know. But the Catechism of the Catholic Church says in section 900 that all of us as Catholics, by virtue of our baptism, by virtue of the sacraments of initiation we've received, we have a duty. That is an obligation as well as a right to evangelize, either individually or grouped together in associations. Catholic Answers, we are an association of the faithful. We have grouped together in obedience to our blessed Lord and the teaching of the church, and we are proclaiming the gospel. Will you join with us right now? Folks, we have 12 open lines. 888-291-8000.
888-291-8000. 11 lines now. Thank you for the calls. Keep filling up those lines, please. We'll go back to doing what we do. We're going to talk to Charlie in Des Moines, Iowa. Listening on Iowa Catholic Radio, a wonderful Catholic network, and we're so thrilled. I mean, really, just in case you don't know, we make the show, but we need these radio stations to air it. We just give it free to anyone. Why do we give it free? Because you pay for it, and that's what we're asking you to help us do. Just pay the bills so we can keep giving this radio program out free all around the world. Let's go to Charlie in Des Moines, Iowa, listening on Iowa Catholic Radio. Charlie, Charlie, are you there with us?
Yeah.
Hello, Charlie. How old
Hi,
are
Charlie.
you?
Good.
I'm glad you're good. Go ahead with your question for Mr. Staples.
Why was Mary not baptized?
Yeah, great question, Charlie. Well, the fact is, most likely she was baptized. And we know this because we know, Charlie, that Mary was obedient to the law before the advent of her divine Son establishing the church. And so Mary was even obedience to, for example, we see in the gospel, don't we, that she brings Jesus to the temple. She offers sacrifices for him, just as Leviticus chapter 12 teaches. Is it chapter 12? Well, it's there somewhere. I'm going to be a good Catholic and say it's there somewhere.
It's in the Bible.
It's in there. So she was obedient to the law. So most likely she would have been baptized at some time. Now, that's not written in the Bible, but of course we can make what's called an a fortiori argument. If this is true, then most likely this is true. In other words, if she was obedient even to the old law, of course she would be obedient to the law of her Son, and her Son instituted baptism as necessary for salvation. So you can bet the house, Charlie, that Mary was obedient and was baptized. All right?
Charlie, thank you. That was the best 6-year-old call we've had in a long time. That was nicely done, Charlie. If you're just listening today, a call from France about can I join the military as a Catholic? A call from 6-year-old Charlie about why was Mary not baptized? That's what we do here. That's what Tim does. Just answer all these questions. And what we find is when we answer questions about the Catholic faith, we remove obstacles to people coming close to Jesus in his church, especially in the sacraments of the Catholic Church, where salvation is found and all the joy of the life with the Trinity is found in those sacraments, and we want to draw people to them, and you're helping us do that. Yesterday, Tim talked about a young man, college-age young man, losing his faith in college, who Tim's going to spend some personal time with, and that's something that we don't usually talk about, but all these guys, you should see the amount of time that Jimmy and Tim and Carlo and Joe and Trent give to individuals. So I would say this, we know we're losing them in college. We know we're losing them to the media. We know we're losing them to the social media and all that pressure that comes with that. What we're trying to do here at Catholic Answers is get them back. Keep them in and get them back. And we need your help to do that. We're about to take a quick break. Perfect time to pick up the phone and call. It's a triple match right now for any new monthly pledge. Can you come in at the $10 a month level? We'll send you a T-shirt. If you do, you'll become a member of Society 315, and we'll give you the digital version of the Magnificat magazine for the whole year. Can you come in at the $20 a month level? Then we'll send you a couple great books, including Jimmy's book, The Bible is a Catholic Book. Or could you come in at the $45 a month level, where we'll give you a free course in the Catholic Answers School of Apologetics. I say those quickly because we're going to the break. If you want to hear more about the gifts we're able to give you at those different levels, just ask the person when you call. But most importantly, if you start a new monthly pledge, $10, $20 a month, maybe $45 a month, maybe $84 a month. All of these levels are tripled right now. Please pick up the phone and call. We have not filled up the phones yet. Can we fill up the phones now? 888-291-8000. Let's keep them Catholic. And if they're not, let's bring them in. 888-291-8000.
Catholic Answers Live would like to take this opportunity to thank our partners in airing our daily program. Please support the stations and networks that carry us each day, ensuring that we have a platform for broadcasting the show. And please bear in mind that while we don't have to pay for airtime on our affiliate stations, neither do they contribute to the operating costs we incur. It's a great relationship, but it requires that we turn to you, our devoted listeners, for your prayers and financial support to cover our ever-growing expenses. Please call 888-291-8000 right now and help to keep Catholic Answers Live strong. That's 888-291-8000. Or you can donate securely online at CatholicAnswersRadio.com. What began as a humble one-hour daily show that was carried by 4 stations has, with the generosity of many fantastic people like you, blossomed into a 2-hour broadcast heard on hundreds of AM and FM stations, the internet, Sirius XM radio, Facebook, YouTube, and via podcast. We don't make that possible. You do. We simply cannot continue this media mission without your most generous gift today. Call 888-291-8000 or log on to CatholicAnswersRadio.com and donate now. People tell us all the time how much they depend on Catholic Answers Live to help them better learn, live, and share their faith. What they're really saying is they depend on you for that. Will you come through for them right now? It only takes a couple of minutes to make a huge difference at 888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com. Again, 888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com. No matter how much you give, be assured of our gratitude and know that God will richly bless you. Phone 888-291-8000 or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. It's important that you take this important step right now, today, to make sure that Catholic Answers Live is here tomorrow and for years to come. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Welcome back to Catholic Answers Live. I am Cy Kellett, your host. Tim Staples, our guest. It's Ask Me Anything. All the phone lines are full, and we're, lots of questions for Tim, so we're going to go back to him. I do have to take just a moment here of your time, however, before we do that, to ask you to support Catholic Answers, support the work that we do. We need to raise $225,000 in the next hour and a half in order to be fully funded. Okay, well, how far along are we? We need 125,000 of that. Okay, so that's a long way to go. We've got certain things to entice you. Among them, if you come in at a $10 a month level, you'll become a member of Society 315. You'll get the Society 315 T-shirt. You'll get new updates and behind-the-scenes stuff, conversations, articles, videos that we make just for Society 315. It's $10 a month. And it's tripled right now because all new monthly pledges are tripled. 888-291-8000. I mean, if we got 1,000 people to just pick up the phone and do the $10 a month, we'd be in great shape. And I know there's thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands listening now. So just to give you an idea, we need we don't have to have a miracle, but we do have to have a lot of generosity, and we ask you for your generous help right now. 888-291-8000. Maybe you could come in at the $20 a month level. That also will be tripled because of two generous donors with two different pledges to us that they will. Anybody who makes any gift up to $20,000 is getting matched by one donor today, and then anybody who makes a new recurring pledge, because those are the pledges we rely on. That's kind of the lifeblood of any nonprofit. Anyone who makes a recurring pledge will get matched again. So that's why I say triple your money, because it's getting matched twice if you make a recurring pledge. So could you come in at the $20 a month level? In addition to being a member of Society 315 and the T-shirt and the Magnificat magazine year subscription and all the other things we're able to give you at that level, we'll send you 2 books. And one book is Jimmy Akin's book, The Bible is a Catholic Book, and the other book, Darren, you're gonna have to remind me what the other book is. I don't have it on my screen at the moment, but or you just ask the person when you call; they'll tell you what the book is that we're giving out. If you guys could tell me what the other book is, that would be helpful. I know we're giving out the Bible is a Catholic Book. It's the other one that I need. And then at the $45 a month level, all that, including the book that for some reason I'm blanking on right now, at the $45 a month level, you'll also get Jimmy Akin's a course at the Catholic Answers School of Apologetics, and you get the full course for free. Just ask him for it. Oh, Confusion in the Kingdom, Trent's new book. That's one of the gifts. That's fantastic. A wonderful new book from Trent Horn, and those are valuable. That's a Trent Horn book. So that's at the $20 a month level. So and then the additional thing to all of that is any new monthly pledge in any amount is being tripled right now. 13 lines open. Everybody you will talk to will be one of the folks we work with here in the building. If you want to tell them your story, if you want to tell them why you're giving, if you want to ask them any questions about what life is like here at Catholic Answers, go ahead. But if you want to get done really quickly, they'll get you done in 90 seconds. They can do it. They can type all the information in they need in 90 seconds. 888-291-8000. 888-291-8000. We're doing our regular job. I'm going to let Tim take calls momentarily. But I will just say just this before I go back to letting Tim take the calls. And that is, you go across the radio dial, the television dial, all these other new media. Oh, it's all wonderful. It's all technologically advanced with wonderful hosts and great stuff. But the sum of it is that it's destroying souls. The sum of it is that it's discouraging people. It's making people desperate and angry and over-sexualized and all that. Somewhere on the dial, somebody's got to be telling the full message of Jesus Christ and his church, just somewhere on the dial. And thank God that EWTN and some other networks are doing that on the television dial. On the radio dial, that's what we try to do. God does the miracles. People find the stations. People who never thought they would be Catholic, who never thought they could be convinced that they needed to repent of their sin and come to the Lord Jesus, are convicted because of what they hear. Not because we're so great at our job, but because that's what God does. He tells us, go out and share the good news, share the message of Jesus Christ and the salvation available in Jesus Christ, and then the Holy Spirit does the work. But we have to participate. You're called to participate. We're called to participate. Nobody's getting rich. There's no money going into the bank. It all gets spent in the next 3 months. But we do need your help in order to keep doing it. So would you pick up that phone and call 888-291-8000. 888-291-8000. Let's go to Brian in Ocean Pine, Maryland, watching on YouTube. Brian, thank you so much for your call. Go ahead with your question for Tim.
Hey, so for some context, yesterday I found myself in a Protestant church and ended up in a debate with the pastor.
Very good.
We were arguing over the necessity of baptism.
Yes.
He was arguing that baptism doesn't have any power in and of itself, but it's the saving power of your faith that that I guess saves you. And I was trying to make sure I got my Catholic theology right,
Yes.
so I wasn't arguing heresy with heresy. So he brought up a scenario in which there was these guys on the beach who were joking around, and they asked somebody to baptize him, and so he wasn't fully intent on sincerely wanting to be baptized.
Yes.
But he got baptized. Would that baptism be valid? Because does
Right.
baptism depend, or
Right.
is it valid if they don't have a true, sincere disposition
Right,
towards
right.
it?
Great question, Brian. And the answer would be no, because in order to have a valid baptism, you don't even essentially need the person to be a believer, right? Even an atheist can baptize in an emergency situation, but they have to have the intention of doing what Christ and his church does. So if they're doing it out of jest, for example, right? I baptize you in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and throw some ocean water on them. That is not a valid baptism because you have to have the proper intention. In fact, generally speaking, Brian, although there is an exception here, Brian, but here's the key. What's required for a valid baptism is proper matter, form, and intention of the baptizer, right? That is what's essential for the baptism. As far as the acceptance of the recipient goes, generally speaking, there's nothing that's required other than it must be free from coercion. The only thing, when you look back over the history of the church and how baptisms have been invalidated, it's always, matter, proper matter, proper form, and the intention. However, in the case in the Middle Ages where you had some Jews who were coerced to being baptized, the church did rule that is invalid. So coercion, and this is why that's part of what the witness does, right? The witness has to witness, kind of like in marriage. What does the witness do in marriage? Essentially, they're witnessing that this man and this woman are freely entering into this relationship that the witness says, I believe they can enter into. But there has to be freedom, right? So coercion or improper matter, form, or intention. But I think I went beyond your question, but with your question, the key there would be not a proper intention. That would invalidate. But I can't help but to say, Brian, didn't it make your skin crawl a little bit when he said, baptism doesn't save, right? Whereas 1 Peter 3:21, of course, St. Peter says, baptism does now save us, right? And Mark 16:16, Jesus says, he that believes and is baptized shall be saved. In Acts chapter 2, verse 37 and 38, when Peter preaches the gospel at Pentecost and they say, what must we do? He says, repent and be baptized, each one of you, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ for the remission of your sins, and you shall receive the Holy Spirit. Isn't that something, Brian, how in the name of the Bible alone, a teaching can so flatly, absolutely violate the Scripture?
You know what? I put Brian on hold and I forgot
gotcha.
because I got focused on raising money, Brian, and that's I apologize for that.
But you know what,
had a
Brian,
low motive, Brian. I apologize.
But I got to say to Brian, thanks so much for engaging in evangelism, man. You're going to a Protestant church, engaging with a pastor. Praise God for that, man. This is what we're here for at Catholic Answers. We're here for folks like Brian. First and foremost, we are about making Catholics better Catholics.
Yeah.
That's our highest priority as Catholics, as a Catholic apostolate. Now, of course, we're here for everyone to come into the fullness of the gospel of Jesus Christ. But that's our first priority. Brian, God bless you. And I've got to say, that's why we need your help right now, folks, at 888-291-8000. We need to continue to be able to do this. And I'm going to tell you, we've gotten a little hamstrung here on day one of this drive. We did a lot better yesterday. We need to take it up a notch right now. We've got 12 open lines. We need you to help us so that we can be freed up. And I can tell you, man, when we have a good drive and we're freed up for 3 months and we know we have the finances coming in, that it helps so many ways. You know this in your own family. If you're struggling week by week to know whether you're going to be able to put food on the table, it impedes what you're able to do. Can we take the kids on a vacation? I don't know. We can't. We just don't have the funds. Folks, this is why we need you now. There are so many things we want to do. We've got planned. Let me tell you, I got some coming. Just me, Tim Staples, that I'm fired up about. But folks, we need your help. 888-291-8000 so that we can go out. Like Cy mentioned, having that young man who contacted us at Catholic Answers, a young college student just out of college who's struggling with his faith. He's Catholic, from a Catholic family. He's like, man, I need help. And you know what? He's going to get it on Monday at 1 o'clock. As many hours as he wants, he and I are going to talk. Folks, that's the kind of stuff we do here at Catholic Answers. And when you call right now, 888-291-8000, you're empowering us to be able to do that and so much more. Please call now. And can I, one more time, folks? No, it'll be more than one more time. But I need that $20,000 giver. If we're going to make this month, we need everybody. Like I said, that $25 one-time gift, we need you to call now. Everybody, that $25 a month gift that's going to be tripled, we need you to call now. We need some $1,000 gifts right now. We need some $2,000 gifts. We need that $5,000, $10,000 gifts. And I am begging for that one guy. You know you should have called yesterday. Okay, that's fine. But you can call today. $20,000. I will guarantee you, my friends, every penny of that money will be well spent here at Catholic Answers for the salvation of souls. Can you call us now at 888-291-8000 or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com or text Catholic to 24365.
I don't remember being in this position before, but after the pledge drive, some money will come in. People will hear about it later and will help. So if I just round off, it looks like in the next 100 minutes we need to raise $100,000. That's a lot. But so Tim's not kidding. We really need your help right now. If you've been thinking about it, maybe now would be a good time to pick up the phone and call. 888-291-8000. 888-291-8000. 8,000 triple match for every new monthly pledge. And I will ask again, those who have are especially blessed right now and are able to give that $1,000 gift. A few of those $1,000 gifts, and all of a sudden we're much, much closer, and it looks more manageable to get there by the end of today. Maybe you could do a $2,500 gift. A gentleman did yesterday a $2,500 gift. Boy, that moves the needle. All of a sudden, the needle moves quickly,
especially when it's doubled.
And I'm looking at all these folks who are being very kind and doing just what we asked, which is picking up the phone and making recurring pledges. Yep. So I also have to mention those folks who have the resources. Could you make those $1,000, $2,000, maybe a $3,000 pledge right now? We need your help. I'm going to take a very quick break. Perfect time to dial 888-291-8000.
Catholic Answers Live.
In Morse code, the sequence SOS is a distress call. It's been said that it stands for Save Our Souls. Well, right now our world is in big trouble, and we're putting out an SOS call for help. Will you answer that call? St. Paul Street Evangelization, a Catholic nonprofit, has hundreds of teams who share the good news with souls who don't know Jesus. Catholic Answers is supported in part by St. Paul Street Evangelization. Visit streetevangelization.com to get involved.
Welcome back to Catholic Answers Live. I am Cy Kellett, your host. Tim Staples is our guest, answering some questions about the Catholic faith and also asking you to support us so that we can continue to answer questions about the Catholic faith for the next 3 months. There are 7 lines open. If you'd like to call and make your pledge right now, you dial this number 888-291-8000. It gets you right into this building to talk to one of our colleagues. Take your time with them, or tell them you're in a hurry, and they will get you out quickly. If you want to do it yourself, it goes to the same place, goes to the same matches. Go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. It's pretty hard to be in a position where you got to raise $1,000 a minute for the next 100 minutes, but with your help, we will get there. And you know what the strange thing is? With Tim sitting right where he's sitting next to me before, I have seen crazy things happen. So I never say, oh, there's no hope. There is hope, but we need your help, and God has left it in our hands to do certain things, and so we have to entrust it into your hands to pick up that phone and dial. And honestly, we don't worry too much about it because for 27 years, you have. And so wherever you're listening, if you could pick up that phone, 888-291-8000, call and make a monthly pledge. And any new monthly pledge is tripled right now because we've got 2 matches on for that. Or any pledge at all is matched at least once. And we do need, and I got to say, people have been very generous coming in with that $10 a month pledge, that $20 a month pledge. And we've been asking for that, but we've gotten to the point now where we also have to ask quite sincerely for those larger pledges of 5,000. Maybe you could do that. Maybe you could do 2,500. Maybe you could do 1,000. If that's within your means, it would be very helpful to us right now. 8 lines open. Oh, just popped to 6 lines open. That's exciting. All right, the calls are coming in. 888-291-8000. 888-291-8000.
You know what, folks? I have to say one last thing. I know we've got some calls on the line, and do call in your questions, folks, because we are going to get to your questions. But I wanted to mention that Cy talked about some of the crazy stuff that happens over the years here.
Yeah.
And we should, one of these days, Cy Kellett, do a whole broadcast about that.
Just about the things that we've seen as far as
Just unbelievable things. Like my friend, and I know he allows me to tell this story now. For a long time, I did him anonymously. But do you remember Alan Saylor?
Oh, yeah.
Alan Saylor was an Assembly of God ministry. Folks, this is the kind of stuff that happens. And this is what you're supporting. When you call 888-291-8000, you are supporting miraculous interventions like this. Well, Alan was a pastor of 2 Assembly of God communities up in Modesto, California. I hope you're listening, Alan. Haven't heard from you for a while. But he one day got in his truck, and the radio just came on to Catholic Answers Live, a Catholic radio station up there in Modesto. And he didn't even know there was such a thing as Catholic radio, but he turns it on and there it is, right? And he said, this is what he told me. He said, reflexively, he just reached over to turn the dial. He goes, Catholic radio, I ain't got time for that. So he goes to turn the dial, and the dial was broken. It was one of those old, linear radio dials, And so it was broken. He couldn't turn it. So he's like, oh, my goodness. So then reflexively, he goes to the left to the other dial, which was the on-off, and it was broken. He couldn't turn the thing off.
He was stuck with us.
That's right. So he was stuck. And I'm not kidding you. He started listening while he's driving, and he got addicted, folks. This is an Assembly of God minister. He got addicted. He started listening. Then he started buying stuff. He started calling in. And he and I ended up getting together, talking. And in fact, I've been up to Modesto and had lunch with him, and just a wonderful man. But he ends up converting. And let me tell you, he lost everything when he converted. He lost everything, and he was struggling. He started driving a truck for a living because, as an Assembly of God minister, all he had was a Bible college degree, and there's not a lot you can do with that in Catholic circles. But you know what? He got a job driving a truck, struggling. I remember his mom got sick. They were taking care of her, even though they couldn't afford it. One of his daughters fell in hard times, had to move back in, and they were struggling. And let me tell you, I went to see him one day. I was speaking in the area, and I went to see him, and a friend at the talk where I was at, I mentioned him, gave a check. I think it was for like $1,500. It was Christmas time. Said, Tim, you give Alan this check for $1,500 and tell him Merry Christmas. And I went over and visited, and I gave him that check for $1,500. And man, he started weeping. And he told me later, he didn't tell me at the time, but they were broke. They weren't going to have Christmas.
Wow.
And that $1,500 gave them Christmas. And you know what, bro? But when we were there, we were sitting there having lunch, and I asked him, I said, man, how you doing? I know it's hard and everything. He said, Tim, you know what? He said, I have Jesus in the Eucharist. He said, I can drive my truck over to any Catholic church anywhere in the United States, pull over, walk in, and sit in the presence of Jesus as a Catholic, and I can receive him. Are you kidding me? He says, Tim, I've got everything I need. blew my mind. Alan Saylor, God bless you, brother. But you know what, folks? That's what happens when you support Catholic Answers Live. Folks, please, I ask you what I asked yesterday. What price tag do you put on that? A conversion like that. Please call 888-291-8000. That's 888-291-8000. And remember, you can't put a price tag. I'm not saying you can. Of course you can't. But the fact is, as I've said before, when you give, you really do participate in the fruits of our labors, like that one right there. And that is multiplied tens of thousands of times all over the world. Folks, please, we need your help right now because we are way behind. Can you call right now? And I need that $20,000 gift at 888-291-8000. Pick it up right now. We're running out of time here for this first hour, and we need your help now. That $20,000 gift at 888-291-8000. How about $10,000 at 888-291-8000? I know we got a couple of $5,000 givers, 888-291-8000. We've got some $10,000 givers. We've got some $5,000 givers, $2,000 givers, like our friend that gave $2,500 yesterday. We need all of you to call now at 888-291-8000. And folks, do not let the devil tell, and I know he does, Si. Don't let the devil tell, well, I'm not going to call my $25. You call and give your one-time $25 gift right now. We need it, and we've got 10 open lines right now. 888-291-8000. And those monthly gifts, my friends, they're going to be tripled. And remember, every gift you give is doubled. But that monthly gift, which is our bread and butter. Cy Kellett knows this. This is what keeps us going, are the $25 a month gifts, the $50 a month, that $100 a month. That's what keeps us going. And right now, they're going to be tripled. So can you make that $100 a month gift, that $50 a month gift, that $25 a month? And I know there's some folks who are already given $25. Can you double that to $50? Because that 25 will be tripled, okay? One more time, 888-291-8000. We need you to come through right now. We've got 9 open lines. Or you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com or text Catholic to 24365. But again, that's 888-291-8000.
888-291-8000. I'm going to go to the phones and let Tim answer some questions, but let me tell you where we are. We have a few minutes left in the show. We're going to get an answer for Eduardo in Nevada, but we're $6,942 away from meeting our match this hour. Maybe there's somebody that can help us out with that $6,942. We'd appreciate that call, but if you can do $500, if you could do $1,000, or any amount is going to help bring it down. But I think we need some special help in the next few minutes if we're going to get it all the way down. $6,942, Eduardo in Nevada. Thank you very much for your call. Go ahead with your question for Tim.
Okay, hello. So my question is on the Catholic stance on purgatory.
Yes.
And an example is that if you go to confession and, let's say, those 10 minutes after confession, you were killed or something, and you didn't sin since your last confession, would you still need to go to purgatory, or would you got to skip it?
Great.
Great question. Eduardo, it is possible that you can go to confession and be so contrite, have what we call perfect contrition, where you are sorry for your sins and there is no attachment left to sin when you go to confession, either for mortal or venial sins, and your contrition is so powerful that it can, along with the sacrament, take away all punishment due for sin. That is possible. We can never know if we've attained that this side of the veil, because only God is the judge of our hearts. That is possible. But ordinarily speaking, there is still some minor attachment to sin, either mortal or even venial sins. Attachment to venial sin also must be purified in purgatory. So the answer is, Eduardo, most likely you would still have punishment due, but not necessarily. As 2 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1 says, having these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves of all filthiness of flesh and the spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God. Notice Paul says, It's possible for us to perfect holiness in the fear of God, but ultimately God is the judge. Folks, we are almost out of time for this first hour. We need you to come through right now. No more waiting, folks. You need to call now and keep calling. We've got open lines at 888-291-8000. We need big givers right now, 20,000, 10,000, 5,000, 2,000. We need you to come through now, and small givers as well. Call now, 888-291-8000.
$4,461 to go to meet our match this hour. Could you help us with that? Any gift in any amount will get us closer, but maybe there's somebody who can take care of 4,000 of that. There are people that have that, and we'd be very grateful if you'd come through for us now. 888-291-8000. Safe and secure online at CatholicAnswersRadio.com. All of the matching money stays on the table during this break. If you make a new monthly pledge, it's tripled. 888-291-8000. Welcome back to Catholic Answers Live. I am Cy Kellett, your host. Tim Staples with us for another hour of Ask Me Anything Catholic Edition. Questions about the Catholic faith. I'll be honest with you, every single line is full right now, but if things loosen up, I'll give out the phone number and you can call if you've got a question. Lots of folks ready to ask their questions of Tim. And of course, this is our last hour of our May pledge drive. And we're trying to be fully funded for the next 3 months. That takes $225,000 to pay everybody and keep the lights on and keep the equipment running and all that. And you've been very generous in helping us get there. We came up a few thousand short last hour. I think it was about 3,000. But I just noticed that Steve in Texas just donated $1,200, so somewhere around 2,000 probably we came up short for the last hour. But thank you so much to everybody who got on the lines, talked to our colleagues here in the building, and did their very best to get us over the hump for the last hour. All right, well, $90,000. If we can raise $90,000 in the next 60 minutes, we'll be there. Yes. But don't feel bad about it. I mean, I'm not looking for sympathy. We don't need that. We have such generous donors, and 27 years of experience to know that, look, sometimes things are up, sometimes things are down. You just go with what you've got. But if you have 90,000 and you want to pick up the phone and call right now, we'll just go back to the lines.
It is. I got to say, it's a little painful because we've left $60,000 hanging, right?
Oh,
the two $20,000 gifts yesterday and one today. That's $60,000 that we're not going to have.
Well, now, Tim, you should know that the matches work where what we raise, they will match.
Oh, I see.
See, it's not like an all or nothing. So I see what your worry was. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now I'm not as worried.
Are you going home now? Are you?
Okay. Yes, I'll see you.
See you later.
But the point is, we still have
got a lot of match money to use up this
that's
hour.
Hanging.
Right.
Because if we don't get that by the end of this hour, then we do leave it hanging. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. That means we've got a chance right now.
888-291-8000. We have a $20,000 match for the hour. $20,000 for any pledge will be matched 100% dollar for dollar. 888-291-8000. 888-291-8000. Am I supposed to be reading this? $1,785 short for the first hour.
For the first hour.
He wanted me to be honest about that. I said about 2,000, and so
you said
1,785.
It's only $1,785, and now
you can't trust me, Tim. All right,
you've
just can't
encouraged me now, though, brother. Because
okay, good. We'll feel encouraged.
We didn't lose that $60K. We can get it back. We can make it this hour.
We're going to have to raise $90,000 in the next 56 minutes.
And we're going to do it.
888-291-8000. Catholic Answers Live is a 27-year-old radio program, and explaining and defending the faith for all that time. We do our very best to do so in a charitable way. You'll notice we're not putting anybody down. We're not saying we're better than any other Catholic media.
Amen.
As our president says all the time, we have no competitors in the Catholic Church.
Amen.
We only have fellow workers in the vineyard. A lot of Catholic media these days, you won't find that attitude, and that does make me sad. But here, we try to be charitable and clear. Do we mess up? Yeah. You want to find an instance for here and there? Yes. But we hold each other accountable, and we try to be charitable and clear because we believe it's worth it. I mean, Jesus is worth it. Do your very best to share Jesus. That's what it's all about. Could you help us right now to continue for the next 3 months to do that? 888-291-8000 is the number. It's a triple match. That is, it's a double match. Triple your money if you make any new monthly pledge in any amount. Triple your money if you make any new monthly pledge in any amount. 888-291-8000. And any gift. If you want to do a one-time gift of, say, $100 right now, $50, yes. $25, maybe $1,000. I don't know what your means are, but that's all matched right now. 888-291-8000. One of the very nicest people in the building here is Jordan. And Jordan is a major gifts officer here at Catholic Answers. How are we doing on this pledge drive? Is it...
Well, you guys brought me in to raise $90,000. So.
I guess that speaks for itself. All right, so we brought the pro in.
All right.
Help us out.
Okay, so you said $90,000 left to go. We have a $20,000 match, which means you need to pick up the phones and you need to call. I think it's always just so funny. You guys call me in, but this time I have a seat at the table.
I know. We've promoted you to
coming
sitting
for
up
your
the-
job,
Well, we
Si.
got a new table. That's why. It's not-
Okay,
we
all
we've
right.
always
I like the
wanted
new
you at the
table.
table.
I felt really
But
special.
this one has room for you.
No, I'm really happy to be here. I love the pledge drives. I love the radio drives. Everybody in the office gets on the phones. You can pick up the phone. You can call. You might talk to Chris Check, our president. You might talk to me. You might talk to somebody in the marketing department. But everybody is so happy to be here. And really, this is the lifeblood of what fuels our apostolate. If it weren't for these 4 times a year that we come to you and we ask for support, we would not be able to do what we do. And I would also say you two. I mean, you make it fun. How would you not want to call in? Because
Why, thank you, Jordan.
Well-
Amen.
Excellent point.
Amen. I have so much fun with this knucklehead, I tell you.
I know.
it's a good time. And I mean, of course, the money, the funding is important, but it's also the people that you get to talk to. I was just on the phone right before they sent me in here with a very nice gentleman from North Carolina. All the way, I don't even know what time it is out in North Carolina. Did you just hear a little Southern accent
It's
come
Southern.
out?
Yeah,
with
because you
me?
talked to a guy from North Carolina.
Yeah,
You became
all of a sudden
Southern.
I'm a Southern belle.
It's 3 hours later out there.
But he's calling at 7 p.m. there, and he was telling me that he just started listening to Catholic Answers, specifically the podcast, which you can go back and listen to the show via podcast at any point. But he said he drops his kids off at school. He has 3 little kids. He just had his 3rd baby born 2 months ago. So congratulations to Bill and his family. But he was telling me he supports Catholic Answers because he wants to have such a good foundation of the teachings of the church, of Catholicism, so that as his kids grow up, he can teach them. He can give them the tools, the foundation, the truth of what we believe and why. He needs to be a good parent in that way so that he can raise up little saints. And I just thought that was the most incredible thing.
That's a beautiful thing.
It's such a generational thing. You need to know your faith so that you can share your faith with others. And it honestly does start in the family.
Praise
so.
God.
888-291-8000 is the number to call. Can you support the work that we're doing here? We got lots of wonderful partners. It's just great when we go out to places around the country, even around the world, and we run into people, sometimes intentionally, we tell them we're coming, who are supporters, who are monthly donors, who are members of Society 315. That's $10 a month to be a member of Society 315. And it's tripled right now, 888-291-8000. But there is a kind of a smallness to the whole thing. You'd be amazed that we actually get to talk with and visit with many of our donors because it's only about 12 or 13 people per radio tower who take the time to pick up the phone and call. So you're in a small group. I think Jordan will agree with this. I don't know if you will, but the dollars are stretched around here. We're not. I mean, the money is well spent.
We don't have a
absolutely.
big bank account.
We are not rolling in the dough, as my dad says. Money doesn't grow on trees around here.
Oh, you're just going to say all your father's quotes?
Yeah, I'm going to pull out the dad jokes.
So 888-291.
We're not Harvard University with an endowment or anything.
We should have an endowment. How do you get one of those? 888-291-8000 is the number. About $88,000 away from being fully funded. Can
We're
you
gonna
help
do
us? 888-291-8000. We are going to need, and I'm really grateful to the people who are calling and making the recurring pledges. But in addition to that, we need those $1,000, $2,000, and $5,000 gifts. I'm just being honest with you. There's no way we get to $88,000 in the next hour without some without some of the larger gifts, as well as all of the wonderful monthly recurring gifts that are coming in right now.
Like Alice. How about Alice?
291-8000. Go ahead.
Alice in South Carolina just started a new $10 a month donation, and guess what? That's not just $120. That's $360.
Thank you, Alice.
Just provided
It's
for
all
us.
of
Thank
them
you very
added
much.
together.
That's it.
When
Did
the
Alice
people
say
call
anything, though?
in-
Hang on, Jordan. I just got to ask Tim a question. Did Alice say anything, or why she gave the money, or was there any note that came with that, Tim?
She was confused.
what
And
did
she
she
said that she loves listening to Cy,
what?
and whenever she hears him on the air, he cheers her up and makes her happy.
Thank you,
Well,
Alice.
You know what?
I don't know
love
why
you
Tim
anyway.
thought that
I love you
he
anyway.
should skip over the most important part, Alice. 888-291-8000.
God
We're
bless
going to
you.
go to the phones, but you give us well, first of all, congratulations.
Oh, thank
You
you.
look very tired from carrying around that
I'm
heavy engagement
overjoyed because
ring.
look, I'm engaged.
Look at that. She got engaged
I'm
and her arm is...
overjoyed. It's amazing. It's
That's
the best
one of
thing
the
ever.
most beautiful rocks I have seen on anyone's finger. That is
Are you just saying
amazing.
that
I
to
am-
make me blush? Because
I am not, because that is a beautiful
I agree.
ring.
He did such a fantastic job. My fiance is the most amazing man.
Somebody loves
So this
you.
guy, this gentleman that called Bill with the
Yeah.
3 kids, and thank you, Bill, for your support and your help. Is that like you're going to be married soon? I assume children may come after that.
God
And
willing,
God
yeah.
willing, praise God. And is this a concern of you? Of yours
To have
too?
children?
No, to that
I
that there be
see.
things like Catholic like is that a
Oh.
personal thing for you or?
Absolutely. As soon as he said that, I said, I get it, because
Yeah.
God willing, Luke and I will have many children to come, and I too want the tools. I want to be able to have the resources to point them to point anybody who has a young family to say, this is where you can go, where you can get trusted tools, context, whatever you need, books, podcasts, the people that are going to share the truth in a very lost, a very confused world where we have so much coming at us, many
it's
things
almost like
teaching.
when you tell your kid about if they get lost, safe people, find someone in uniform, find a police officer or something like that. We need places where we can send them media-wise.
Yeah.
Where if you need a Catholic answer, there's a safe place to go. And there's many. Well, I'm not saying that we're the only one, but I think that's
but
a
a
good.
light in the darkness.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
888-291-8000. 10 lines open right now. Jordan, congratulations on your
Thank you.
engagement.
I
Thank you
just
for coming
really,
in.
you're making me blush, but I'm excited. Thank you for having me. Pray for me. Luke and I are getting married in January.
Beautiful.
Well, we will pray
And
for
pray
you.
for our pledge
Thank you.
drive, everybody. Thank you for supporting us.
Thank you,
We'll
Jordan.
probably have you and Luke on to interview on the show.
Ooh, scary.
The married
Hey, do you have to
couples.
go to a break right now, or can I say something?
You can say something. Bye, Jordan.
I
Goodbye.
got to tell everybody out there, the number is 888-291-8000. We need to hear from you folks, but I am excited because I just learned something. I thought we lost those $20,000 matching gifts, but we haven't yet. Okay? That means do you realize what the maybe you
It's
realize
revolutionized it for you, huh?
it has, because that means if you call and give that $20,000 gift right now, it is guaranteed to be doubled. If
that's right, that's
if
right,
we
yeah.
get two $20,000 gifts, they are both guaranteed to be doubled.
Yeah, I'm going to trust your math on that because I don't know, but I'm going to trust your math on that.
Because we've got $90,000 to raise right now, folks. Is that right? Or are we at 90?
Well, we're coming down towards 80. We're somewhere between 80 and 90
okay,
right
folks. So right now,
80
I know
85, actually,
it
85,000.
seems insurmountable, but it is not, because we're going to get that $20,000 gift, sir. Come on, you've waited 2 days now. I told you yesterday. Call 888-291-8000. We need to hear that $20,000 gift. We need a $10,000 gift. We need a couple of $5,000 gifts, and I know we've got a lot of $1,000 givers and $2,000 givers that can take us over the top at 888-291-8000. Remember, you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. There's no wait. You can text Catholic to 24365 and get that thing in there. We have 7 people right now that are waiting to hear from you. And please, I'm going to say it again, don't let the devil lie to you and say your $25 gift is not needed. Yes, it is. We need everybody right now. We need that $25 a month gift. We need that $50 a month gift right now at 888-291-8000. Remember, they are tripled. Everything is doubled, but monthly gifts are tripled. What a deal.
What a deal.
Tripled. I remember a few years ago, we didn't have this. We just started getting these.
About 2 years ago, yes. Some donors had this idea, yeah.
Yeah, and they have been unbelievable in furnishing. But hey, if we don't get that money, that matching money by the end of this hour, we will lose it. Am I right?
Yes, yeah.
If we don't get the matching
we
money.
tell them how much we raised of the amount that they said they would match, and then they match it.
Right.
So whatever we raise, is gonna be matched.
Folks, we cannot let that money. I'm so excited. Do you understand? Tim Staples is so excited right now because it's like, wow, we've got a shot. Here, I thought we lost all that matching money. We've got a shot right now at 888-291-8000. Let's not let all of that matching money go away, folks. Give us a call, 888-291-8000. If we all join together right now, we can make it.
All right, Jamie in Boston, I'm coming to you, and Tim's going to answer your question. But let me just say this before we do. We are less than $85,000 to go in 45 minutes. We got to raise just a little less than $85,000 in 45 minutes to be fully funded. But I want to thank particularly Marie in Eden Prairie. She's on her way to Adoration, stopped and donated $2,000. She doesn't even know I'm thanking her right now because she's in adoring Jesus in the Eucharist. But God bless you, Marie. Thank you.
Wow.
Steve in Cibola, Texas, just donated $100 a month, and he's a new donor, and it got tripled. And Steve, thank you. And I'll say this last thing, and then I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you, Jamie in Boston. Hang on. Just this last thing. You know what's keeping us in the game right now is those $20 and $40 and $10 a month pledges. Those are the. There's been enough of those that we are at least still in the game here. So
yes, we
888-291-8000. It's an all-hands-on-deck moment. We got $85,000 to raise in the next 44 minutes. 888-291-8000. Jamie is in Boston, Massachusetts, listening on our website, Catholic.com. Jamie, welcome. Go ahead with your question for Tim.
Hi there.
Hi, Jamie.
My question is, how can I trust more, I guess, or maybe at all for some people, but how can I trust in God's love and goodness?
Oh, boy, Jamie, what a great question, important question. But number one, I think what we have to say is that, there's a sense in which we can say that's all God can be is good. Amen.
Yeah.
All he can do is love. All he can be is good. Why? Because he is, and we can know this without even opening a Bible. We can know that God is pure actuality. There's no potency in him. There's no lack in him. There is nothing but pure goodness and pure love. We know that. That is a metaphysical reality. Even people say, well, how can you have God, the existence of hell if God is pure goodness? Well, it's because of his goodness. He made us free, Si, in his goodness and gave us the ability to, as the Catechism of the Catholic Church says, it's our free will that empowers us to be able to love. Without freedom, there is no love as we understand it, Si.
Right.
Because if there's no choice, there's no love as we understand it. So he gives us that freedom, and with that comes an immeasurable responsibility that results in, or can result in hell. And that is the person to whom God has given all of these gifts freely rejecting God's good plan for them. And that's the only reason why there is a reality called hell. But it's all rooted, everything. Jamie, we could talk about every aspect of reality and understand it's rooted in God's goodness. But the second point, Jamie, is this. When we look to Jesus Christ, what a gift we have as Christians to see, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world. That's not why he sent Jesus, according to St. John's Gospel, but so that the world through him might be saved. You look at the crucifixion of our blessed Lord, and you see love and goodness incarnate. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay his life down for his friends, says Jesus in John 15:12, John 13:34. That is reality. And you know what? I think, Jamie, that all of us as Christians need to meditate upon that reality, that God so loved the world that he gave. And if we meditate on that reality, spend time in front of the Blessed Sacrament, gazing up at our crucified Lord. This is why Paul says in 1 Corinthians 1:23, we preach Jesus Christ and him crucified. Because when we see our crucified Lord dying for us on the cross, what can we think of other than goodness and love, right? That is goodness and love incarnate, Jamie. Does that make sense?
Jamie, are you still there with us? Did I might have messed up with Jamie. I apologize.
Well, you know
Jamie.
what,
I got to
folks,
keep moving, though.
But
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jamie.
I got to say this, because what we just talked about right there is everything.
Yeah.
This is what this whole thing is about, that God so loved the world that he gave. And you know what? As Catholics, we have to say this. There's a sense in which everything that I just said is so profoundly true, not because I said it, because it's the Word of God. This is the truth that has been revealed to us in Scripture and tradition as it's interpreted by the magisterium of the church. For God so loved the world that he gave. But there is a sense in which we as Catholics have a gift in the Eucharist, that while the crucifixion of our blessed Lord shows to us, reveals to us that God so loved the world, past tense, the Eucharist shows us he loves, because he continues in the Eucharist to represent to us his once and for all sacrifice, so that you and I can experience the power of our crucified Lord in our very lives through the Eucharist. This is why St. Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 15, the cup of blessing which we bless, is it not a partaking in the blood of Christ? The bread which we break, is it not a participation in, a partaking in the body of the Lord? Why? Because we need him now. He is represented to us so that we can receive him and be transformed from the inside out. And I don't know about y'all, I want every human being on this planet to be able to experience our blessed Lord in the Eucharist, the greatest gift in the universe. That is ultimately Jamie's call, is everything that we're about here at Catholic Answers. And we need you now because, folks, we have 13 open lines right now. This should not be. Because we need to present what we just presented right here, Si. We could do that over and over and over, 24 hours a day, and I'd be happy as a lark to be able to do that. But folks, look, we need your help to do it, and we're way, 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 way behind. We need your help. We got to raise this last $80,000 in these last 37 minutes.
83,000 to go in 37 minutes.
83,000, and we can do it. We need that $20,000 giver to call right now at 888-291-8000. That's 888-291-8000, or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com or text Catholic to 24365. Help us to be able to present the love and goodness of God like we just did for Jamie.
888-291-8000 is the number to call and make your pledge. As Tim said, it's our colleagues. You're calling right into this building, talking with people like Jordan, who we just spoke with, who work here every day, and there's 10 lines open right now. That popped down to 9 lines as I was speaking, and let me just reset where we are. We need to be fully funded for the next 3 months. We need to raise $83,000 in the next 36 minutes, and I say 36 minutes, but we'll stay here, and people will answer the phones as long as the phones continue ringing. If you're listening later on the podcast, you can give right now by going to CatholicAnswersRadio.com, CatholicAnswersRadio.com. Or right now, you can go, anybody listening live can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. If it would be easier for you, just text the word Catholic to 24365. That's what we are. We're Catholic 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Text the word Catholic, and that will take you to a place where you can make your pledge or gift immediately. But if you could, just pick up the phone and call 888-291-8000. I am very gratified, and I want you to know, like, it sounds like we're not gratified or we're not grateful maybe if we say how far we have to go. But lots and lots of people are picking up the phone and making that $10 a month
Praise
gift.
God.
Now, that's the backbone of what we do, that $10 a month gift. What we need right now is just a few folks who have a substantial means to call and make those larger pledges, and then that will fill in. And because we've said this many times, Tim, it takes everybody. Like we never have reached the goal just with big donations, small donations, medium size. It takes everybody, and if we're going to reach it, which it can happen, we can get there.
Amen.
But as Tim has been saying, and I have to admit, Tim's a little bolder than I am, I do appreciate that. I think that's good. It's a sense of what we do is worth it. It's worth it, and if you've got the ability to make that $10,000 gift, Tim's been asking for a $20,000 gift. Holy smokes, we would get very close. I mean, we'd be within striking distance if we had a $20,000 gift, but maybe you could do 2 or 3 or 5, maybe $1,000 if you're a person of means and can do that. In addition to all the wonderful people who are calling and making a $10 or $20 a month pledge right now, and it's a lot. That's been very gratifying.
Yeah.
If a few would do those larger amounts, there's 6 lines open for you right now. 888-291-8000. 888-291-8000. Catholic Answers Live just needs $225,000 to be fully funded for 3 months. We give this program to anybody who wants to broadcast it anywhere in the world. Can you get it in Australia? Yes. Can you get it in the Philippines? Yes. Can you get it in Europe and Africa and Asia? And did I say Europe? Yeah, Europe, you can get it. They need it. That's why I need to say Europe twice. They need it over there. All because you pick up the phone and call. We're going to be away for 2 minutes right now. 888-291-8000. Would you please just fill up those phone lines? It's so exciting here in the building when that happens.
Amen.
Whether it's a one-time pledge or a monthly pledge, small or large or medium, 888-291-8000. It's all hands on deck time, and we need you.
Will you do us a favor right now? Clear your mind of all other thoughts and reflect for just a moment on how Catholic Answers Live has made a difference in your life. Has our broadcast made your afternoon commute more meaningful? Perhaps you've learned how to explain the faith to family or friends in a more vibrant, convincing way. Something you heard here may have been just the thing you needed to look into joining or returning to the Catholic faith. All of these are serious reasons to be thankful, first and foremost to God, but also to all who have financially made it possible for us to air the show each day. Believe me, our gratitude could not be deeper. And we're coming to you today during our quarterly membership drive, asking you to join the ranks of the great people whose gifts and sacrifices have helped to turn around countless lives over the years, and very possibly helped make an eternal difference for many of them. Think about that for a moment. That's what your prayers and donations to Catholic Answers Live are doing. What a tremendous opportunity is being presented to you right now. Please don't let it pass you by. Call 888-291-8000 or visit CatholicAnswersRadio.com and let one of our fast, friendly customer service team members take your pledge. Large or small, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you call right now. Again, it's 888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com. We're offering some great appreciation gifts that are sure to deepen your faith life even more. But what's best is you'll have the confidence that when you turn your radio on tomorrow, or next week, or 12 days from now, we'll be here, boldly and charitably presenting the truth to a world that's searching for precisely that. Your pledge is vital to keeping Catholic Answers Live on the air. Will you make the call today to 888-291-8000 or donate securely online at CatholicAnswersRadio.com? Thank you so much in advance. Give now at CatholicAnswersRadio.com or 888-291-8000. God bless you.
Welcome back to Catholic Answers Live. That little groovy music for Emma from yesterday. I know, Emma. We made you wait yesterday. Emma told us she'd give us $20 a month if we would play the groovy music, and so we did. We didn't do it quickly, but we did it, and there it is again, Emma. Thanks for your pledge. If you want to follow Emma and make a $20 a month pledge right now, maybe you like the groovy music. Maybe you like Tim Staples. Maybe you really like the idea of spreading the news about Jesus and his sacraments to the whole world. All you got to do is pick up the phone and call 888-291-8000. Let me tell you what that means to us. That your monthly pledge of $20 is doubled right now because there's a $20,000 dollar-for-dollar match this hour. And then it's doubled again, or let's call it tripled, because we have a special
That's awesome.
opportunity
that, really
that a big donor has given us, that any new monthly pledge will be matched again.
Yep.
So could you pick up the phone and call, because we're I'm going to give you a pretty accurate number of where we are. We'll be fully funded if we can raise in the next 30 minutes. If we can, I'm just waiting for my screen to reboot here. $80,900. We're $80,900 away. Can we do that in 30 minutes? I can't do it. But Jesus got a lot of friends, and if his friends decide, then we can do it. And We need your help, though. Look, there's 16 of our colleagues on the phones right now waiting for your call. 11 of them just sitting idle, waiting. Oh, now it dropped to 12, sitting idle, waiting to take your call.
Come on, folks.
So please don't feel like, I want to leave the lines open for somebody else. We haven't filled up the lines all 3 days of this pledge drive. They have not been filled up. There may have been 1 minute where they filled up. So it's a free-for-all. Pick up the phone and call. In about 10 seconds, you'll be on the phone with somebody sitting here in the office with us, 888-291-8000. And as Tim was saying, and I know we've been doing a lot of fundraising in the last half hour, and so we'll go back to callers very shortly. But as Tim was saying before, we're going to need some big donations if we're going to make it. I mean, it's hard to raise $80,900 in 30 minutes if without some people who step up and take a big $5,000 or a $10,000 or $2,000 chunk out of that. So if you are if you're able to do that, if that's within the scope of what you're able to give, we're asking you to help us to be fully funded for the next 3 months. And I'll tell you what you get for that. You get hours and hours of radio and video. You get podcasts. You get social media. And there's probably a whole bunch of stuff that I'm forgetting. And new stuff coming down. We get a school of apologetics and all kinds of things, all going out all around the world, free to anybody. Most of that stuff I just said, free to anybody. And changing lives. Amen. That's what happens, changing lives. Not because we're great, not because Jesus changes lives. All we got to do is we got to tell people about it. We got to answer the questions. We got to remove the obstacles. And if I'm getting a little animated, it's because I am. I love what we do, and we need your help to keep doing it. 888-291-8000.
And you know what? I got to say it. Kathleen from Arizona just gave $500, a first-time donation.
Thank you, Kathleen.
That is doubled, Kathleen, to $1,000. Francisco in Moses Lake, Washington, one-time donation of $300. Tony in Alabama, God bless you, just gave $1,000 one-time donation and wants to be a monthly donor as well. So she's also going to be mailing us $100 a month. Now think about that, right?
Tony, thanks. Wow.
That's like she just gave $4,600, right? $4,600.
Holy smokes.
$1,000 one time and $100 a month tripled. That's $4,600. Tony, God bless you. That's what we're looking for, folks. God bless you. Sally in Lafayette just gave a one-time donation of $1,200. But she's smart. She said, let's make it a monthly pledge, $100 a month, but I'm going to pay it up front in full. Hey, we can do that. That's $3,600 right there.
Sally's no dope.
Oh, God bless you.
Sally's got this thing worked out.
You know what,
Sally.
folks? That's what we need. We really do. We're coming down to the wire now. We've got 27 minutes left, and we need y'all to come through. We need some more big givers like we just did, like we just got. But we got 12 open lines. So, folks, we need all of it. This is what we've been talking about. It really is going to take all of us. We need the one-time $25 gift. Yeah, we do. Don't you stop. See, some people, I'm not going to tie up a line for my $25.
There's 11 lines open.
That's right. That's a lie. That's the devil putting that in your head because we need everybody to join with us right now. We've got 11 open lines right now at 888-291-8000. We need the $25 a month. $50 a month, the one-time $100 gifts. We need all of those. And folks, you know, dude, I've been talking to you now for 2 days. All right? It might be a dudette.
Yeah.
But dude or dudette.
Sir or ma'am. That's how I will address you.
That's right. I've become a Californian.
If you're give what he's about to ask, I'll tell you whatever you want.
We need that $20,000 gift right now at 888-291-8000. Folks, you will not be sorry you gave this on Judgment Day because you will be able to see on Judgment. Imagine, the Catechism of the Catholic Church says on Judgment Day, we will be able to see God's entire plan of salvation, how everything worked together. And all of us will see it, Cy Kellett.
Yeah.
So you will see how that $20,000 was used to transform the lives of untold numbers of souls. Folks, you will not be sorry. 888-291-8000. We need that $20,000 gift. We need some $10,000 givers. We need some $5,000 giver. I know we have at least one $10,000 and we have one $20,000 giver out there. And we also have multiple, at least two $5,000 givers. We've got multiple $2,000 givers. $1,000 givers. Folks, we are coming down to the wire. 25 minutes left. Folks, we only come to you 4 times a year. Right? So don't be saying, well, they're bugging me. No, we're not. We come very few.
Well,
you
they're
know what
bugging
we
me.
do? No, we ain't bugging
That was
anybody.
nice.
We are bringing the gospel of Jesus Christ day in and day out. But I got to say this now. I don't want to sound like I'm mad at anybody, okay? But you know what, folks? I love doing this because, like, you said it earlier, Si. I believe in what we are doing. I see people come to Jesus.
I have seen it too.
I see it happen. I talk to them face to face, and they say, thank you. Oh, my goodness, I'm Catholic now. I'm receiving the Eucharist. And now my whole family, my children are Catholic because of Catholic Answers. I'm sorry. I'll shout it from the rooftop till I die. Call 888 291 8000, my friends, because I give everything. My wife and I give everything we can. We're struggling with this economy. I understand it, but you know what? We give every penny we can. Folks, we're asking you now to help us out. 888 291 8000, and I'll guarantee you, it's going to save souls.
Let me tell you the last 10 donors. I've never done this before, but I have a little sheet that tells me the donors, and then we'll go straight to the phones. I promise you. I'll just one-time donation of $20, recurring donation of $10, recurring donation of $10, one-time $129.86, one-time $50, a recurring donation of $20.77, a one-time donation of $25.97, a recurring donation of $51.94, and a recurring donation of $10.38. You see how those recurring donors and one-time donors are keeping us in the game. But you can also see that we do need those larger gifts now if we're going to balance that out and get fully funded. 888-291-8000. All right, here we go to the phones. Let's let Tim answer a question.
Amen.
How about we go to Stafford, Virginia? Jonathan is in Stafford, Virginia, watching on YouTube. Jonathan, thank you for your patience. Sorry I kept you waiting. Go ahead with your question.
Oh, not at all. Actually, we spoke last week.
Oh, so
Tim sent me. Tim sent me the book. I was asking for resources on Catholicism because I tell you I've been feeling really led in this direction, and y'all told me to call back.
I'm so glad that you called back. And which book did Tim send you?
It was his book. They wrote the
Behold Your Mother.
Mary.
Yeah, Behold Your Mother.
That's
Wonderful.
right. I just started reading it. Yep.
So
praise God.
So you're working through obstacles about coming into the Catholic Church. You're trying to decide if it's
not
true.
Not even obstacles.
Okay.
No, not even obstacles. I've become enthralled with it. It's much richer than what I feel like I was brought up with, and I'm just learning as much as I can, and so. You guys help me out with some of these resources and things like that, and Catholic Answers really helped me out here too. With I've just been kind of living on their website.
Praise God.
The one question that I did have, my wife is also, she was brought up Protestant as well, and when I mentioned to her that I was being led in this direction, at first she was taken aback, and she's been a little bit more open to it. Praise God, but. As I'm getting really excited, I don't really know how to share what I'm learning with her without turning her off.
Right.
Okay.
So
is that your question?
I'm getting pretty pumped about everything that I'm learning here, and I just, but how do I, because our faith is very important to us, but it's very different. I mean,
Jonathan,
my whole family is Catholic, so
Let me jump in here, brother, because man, are you singing my tune. When I converted to the Catholic faith, you probably don't know my story, but I was an Assembly of God youth minister. I was born and raised Southern Baptist, very anti-Catholic background. I believed the Catholic Church. I really did believe the Catholic Church was the most evil institution ever instituted on the face of this earth. I really did. I believed they were leading people away from Jesus because they worship cookies, worship Mary and the saints and all the rest. They're idolaters. I really believed that. And man, when I was challenged by a young Catholic Marine, when I was in the Marine Corps back in 1986, a long time ago, and I started to study, I, like you, Jonathan, I was blown away. And I spent 2 years of intense searching. I was reading everything I could get my hands on, and I was finding truth upon truth upon truth. And the hardest thing for me to do was to cool my jets, because I went after my family. It was like, man, at first I'm so excited. I'm just, I'm falling all over myself and all over them. But I had to realize real quick that each one of them are in a different place. I have to respect where they are. And like God respects our free will, I have to respect their free will. Answer their questions. Don't proselytize, right? The difference between proselytization and evangelization. Proselytization doesn't respect the person, attempts to coerce, be overbearing, dominate, and it can have good intentions, but it ends badly, man. Love is the key to really will the good of your wife, your family, and all of those, to really love them and understand and to be patient. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9 is, or 8 and 9, as you know, brother, it says God is patient toward us, right? Not willing that any perish, but all should come to repentance. So we have to be patient and loving and understanding, and understand that God, and I know you know this, brother, but God is in charge of the conversion of souls. We are we're instruments in a sense. We're secondary causes, to be more theologically accurate, right? We're secondary causes. We do have a role to play. But as we see in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, St. Paul says, it's God who gives the increase. Apollos waters. I plant the seed, Apollos waters. God gives the increase, brother. So you relax, let Jesus do the work. Just love, and really will the good of the other, and you watch what God does. He brought my entire family, my 3 brothers, 2 sisters-in-law, mother, father, everybody's Catholic. And if you'd have told me that back when I first converted, that my whole family would be Catholic, I don't. Let's just say I wouldn't have been too optimistic, right? Especially my dad, he didn't want anything to do with the Catholic faith, man. He thought it was evil, and he became one of the strongest Catholics I ever knew. Listen, brother, God bless you. I wish we could talk more. We do have some work to do here, brother. Thanks so much for calling in, though. God bless you, and we're here for you in any way. My friend, we have, as you know, as you said, you're living on Catholic.com. God bless you. Keep calling. We're here for you.
Jonathan, hang on. We'll send you a copy of Why We're Catholic if you don't have it yet. And if he does have it, maybe Joe's book, The Early Church Was the Catholic Church, whatever you think will be helpful, Edgar. Jonathan, we don't usually give out books because we're busy during these times. But
Jonathan, I want to recommend Fundamentals of Catholic Apologetics by Dr. Peter Kraft and Father Ron Taselli. That is one of the best apologetics books of our modern time. Check it out, my friend. It's exhaustive. It's amazing. Fundamentals of Catholic Apologetics by Dr. Peter Kraft and Father Ron Taselli. Folks, we need your help. We've got 17 minutes left. And
$74,000 to go.
74, is it? Yeah. 74,000.
So it's coming down. Quite a few people have called. 74,000 to go.
We are knocking it down, guys. You know what? We need that $20,000 gift right now. We got some $10,000 gifts out there. I know we do. We've got some $5,000 gifts, some $2,000 gifts, some $1,000 gifts. And remember, folks, as we just saw some coming in, that $100 a month, that's $3,600 right there. Folks, call now. We are coming down to the wire. I know somebody's going to come through. We are going to make this thing. 888-291-8000. 888-291-8000. Or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com or text Catholic to 24365. Let's do this thing together.
$74,000 to go in the next 16 minutes, but we'll stay answering the phone as long as you will keep calling. And you might say, that's a large number and a short amount of time. If you haven't seen some of the things that we have seen around here, there's no reason for anything but joy. It is all of this works out, and I know there are people right now who are making their decision. And I'll be honest with you, I hope some of them are making a decision around some larger gifts, because the monthly donors, the small one-time donors, the medium donors have just been coming through in the last hour for us, but we're not going to make up that $74,000 in now 15 minutes without some larger gifts.
We need you. We need you, folks.
That's all. That's the whole message right there. We need you right now. 888-291-8000. 888-291-8000. Every gift matched, and if it's a new monthly pledge in any amount, it is tripled. And if maybe you could come in at that $10 a month level. Listen, I know we're asking for the larger gifts, but there are lines open because our call leads colleagues have stopped doing everything else they're doing, and they're just sitting waiting to answer phones. 888-291-8000. So maybe you want to come in at that $10 a month level. You become a member of our Society 315, which is really actually quite a valuable society. We'll give you the T-shirt. We'll give you the car magnet. We'll give you a full year of Magnificat magazine, the digital edition, all of that. But the cool thing about Society 315 is, we do special shows for the people of Society 315. We have meetings in various places, including at our conference with the members of Society 315. And then they get extra stuff every month, sometimes multiple times a month. Articles, interviews, conversations, behind-the-scenes stuff, all for fun and also for enlightenment and building up that community. So maybe you could come in right now at the $10 a month level, get your money tripled because there's 2 matches on for every new monthly pledge. 888-291-8000. 888-291-8000. You want to come in at the $20 a month level? Is that something that you could do? That money is tripled right now too. And in addition to being a member of Society 315 and getting all the benefits I just mentioned, you'll also get Trent Horn's brand new book, Confusion in the Kingdom. It's worth it just for that. That is a great book. And a legendary book from a legendary writer, Jimmy Akin, The Bible is a Catholic Book. Both are yours at the $20 a month level. Maybe you are someone who could come in at the $45 or $50 a month level. At that level, everything I just mentioned, but we'll also add 20 Answers, the Gospels, and a full course, Bible Difficulties online course with Jimmy Akin. You can have it all at the $50 a month level. And may I say again, look, there's just 6 lines. Oh, now we're down to 5 lines open. This is wonderful. Folks have been coming through for us. I want you to take that message. We are not feeling desperate or neglected.
Amen.
It's just that we need some larger gifts to close the gap.
Amen.
Right now, we're down to $73,000. Can we do it? We can with your help.
Yes, we can.
When I say $73,000, that's what it will take for us to be fully funded for the next 3 months.
We're going to do it.
We are done with fundraising in about 13 minutes from now. And we won't bug you again for 3 months. But to be fully funded for the next 3 months, we're a little more than $70,000 away. And so that means in addition to the folks who are helping us out with those monthly pledges and those smaller and medium-sized gifts, we're in need at the moment. We need your help with some larger pledges. 888-291-8000. 888-291-8000.
Folks, I am so excited because I'm seeing there's 11 folks on the line right now, but we have 8 open lines. We need you to call 888-291-8000. You know what? We're going to make this.
I feels like it. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. I'm the one who's always pessimistic.
I know, and if Tim says we're going to make it, that means we're going to make it.
I just believe we're. You know what? It's maybe it's just because I know the need. The need of the hour is for the fullness of the gospel of Jesus Christ. We have the only answer that is able to satiate every person that's walking this planet right now. We have the answers to what ails every individual and every culture, every nation on this planet. Folks, how can you not support that? How can you not get behind that? Honestly, folks, those who can. Now, again, those who cannot, I understand. But folks, those of you that can, we need you to call right now. 888-291-8000. Come on. Pick up the phone right now. 888. I don't think we've gotten that $20,000 gift yet.
We have not.
This is it. Come on, brother. 888. Might be sister.
Yep.
888-291-8000. Go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com or text Catholic. Remember, there's no wait. Text Catholic to 24365. But we need to hear from you now. We are going to make this thing. How far do we have to go?
About 72,000, I think. About 72,000. I'm doing it in my head.
Let's do it right now, folks.
Yeah, 888-291-8000. I'll tell you what, Tim. I trust folks. Let's leave it in their hands, and we'll take a call.
Let's do it.
That's called trusting in the Lord, trusting in the callers. Then we'll go to Athena in Idaho, listening on Catholic.com. Athena, welcome. Go ahead with your question for Tim.
Hello. I had been discussing with a Calvinist friend, and she was talking. We were both talking and discussing about our big families, and she was saying, well, like, don't the Catholics have, like, the monastic life, like the monks and the nuns? And she was curious as to how that's okay when the Bible tells us that we're supposed to be fruitful and multiply.
Oh, what a wonderful question.
Yes. You know what, Athena? That is a fantastic question. Now, it depends upon who you're talking to. If they are a Christian, this is a really easy one to answer, because all you got to do is say, would you say Jesus Christ was not fruitful? Right? Now, of course, Jesus Christ is the Son of God who died for the sins of all of us and transformed the entire universe. But guess what? He was celibate. He was fruitful and multiplied spiritually, right? He is the bridegroom. We are the bride. And so what we understand is that, look, we're not denying, you know, the Old Testament mandate, right? Male and female, he created them, be fruitful and multiply, Genesis chapter 1. We acknowledge all of that. But we have to understand that the Old Testament focuses a lot on this world. It was very this worldly focused with a view to eternity, but much more to this world. Whereas in the New Covenant, we have a much greater focus on eternity. And so this is why we understand in a deeper way, even than they did in the Old. Although there was that understanding even in the Old Testament, because we have the understanding, like in the books of Hosea and Song of Solomon, that the Old Testament people of God were in a real nuptial relationship with God. God refers to them as his bride. And so there was an understanding that there's a spiritual fruitfulness that comes through faithfulness to Yahweh, even in the Old Testament. But in the New Testament, oh my goodness, Jesus Christ is the example that leads to St. Paul saying things like in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 38, the one who marries does good, but the one who remains celibate does better. And why is that? Paul goes into great length, and especially verses, 32 through 35 of 1 Corinthians 7, how that the one who is completely consecrated to God has his whole heart, his or her whole heart, focused on the Lord and is able to produce so much more. So they're even more fruitful than we who are married. Now, that doesn't take away from the Old Testament and the mandate to be fruitful and multiply. It expands its understanding to understand that it's both on the physical level and the spiritual level. And the spiritual level is actually more important. More important, so that it's those who are consecrated to God in celibacy that have that nuptial relationship with God that bring about fruitfulness, and it spills over even into our lives. We who are married, we are encouraged and inspired, and we receive the graces that come through that level of consecration into our own lives. Well, folks, you know what? I wish we could do a whole hour just on that, couldn't we? The beauty, the power of celibacy and what it really means to be fruitful and multiply. But you know what? We are almost out of time. And folks, we need your help right now. We still have, 70,000?
We're under 70,000 now.
All right.
Yeah,
we
under
are
70,000.
moving. We are moving. We're under 70,000 to reach our goal. Folks, we need some big givers to come through right now at 888-291. Why am I thinking it's going to happen, Cy Kelly? 888-291-8000. 888-291-8000. We need some $20,000 givers, some $10,000 givers, some $5,000, $2,000, $1,000. And don't you dare, look, we've got 10 open lines right now, folks. And don't stop calling. We're going to stay here as long as you keep calling, because we're going to make this thing at 888-291-8000. Remember, you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com, text Catholic to 24365. Folks, give those $10 a month gifts. Please call 888-291-8000. $20 a month, one-time $25 gift, $100 gift. But we also need those $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, and I am still waiting. I'm going to sit here till we get that $20,000 gift at 888-291-8000.
888-291-8000. I think the reason Tim and I both feel so confident it can happen is we were here on the hour where the phones stopped working, and we still exceeded our match. And tell me how that happened. I still, to this day, don't know how that happened. So we've seen miracles. We're not worried, but we are grateful. And thank you so much to everyone who has called during this pledge drive. It's a very large number of people who have called.
That's right.
Lots took us up on that $10 or $20 a month pledge.
God
Continue
bless
that.
you. Thank you.
We're going to stay answering phones until you stop calling. 888-291-8000. 65,000 or something to go right now. 888-291-8000. We need everybody. It's an all-hands-on-deck moment. We're trying to be fully funded for the next 3 months to produce this show and all the other stuff that we produce here at Catholic Answers. Giving most of it away for free all around the world. That's because of you. We need your help now. 888-291-8000 or go safe and secure online to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. Any new monthly pledge is tripled. Every pledge is doubled, and we need some big ones right now. 888-291-8000.